The following program is sponsored by NARI of Central Ohio. NARI is the local chapter of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry, a not-for-profit trade group dedicated to setting the highest standards for home remodeling. NARI members stay up to date through professional certifications, continuing education, and adhere to a strict code of ethics. If you're looking for certified, reliable remodeling pros who are committed to doing your job right, check out the NARI membership directory or see their award gallery today. Start your remodeling journey at trustnari.org. Remodeling is more than just nails and drywall. It's passion, grit, and more than a little bit of humor. Welcome to the Remodelers Roundtable, where we talk shop, share stories, and get to know the people shaping the industry, one renovation at a time. Welcome to the NARI podcast, Remodelers Roundtable. I'm TV's Ben Niedenthal, and with me today is Devin Durbin, the CEO and owner of the Durbin compound. Devin is many things, among them a certified kitchen and bath remodeler, CKBR.
I don't ever say it like that. But
yeah, you don't walk around just spouting that out?
CKBR.
Okay,
Yeah.
There you go.
It sounds right. Sounds professional.
Sounds great. But you're also a YouTuber with 43,000 subscribers, regular subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Who's counting? Yeah.
Well, YouTube is technically
right. And there are levels. So I mean, once you get to 100,000 subscribers, you get a plaque for the wall.
Yeah,
and that would be pretty awesome to have on the wall. But I haven't been dedicating a lot of time to it.
I was going to say that is that your goal is to be the YouTuber, or is that part of just being the job?
Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it could be my primary income if I went that route.
Yeah.
I have a lot more fun doing renovations for people. My business is completely based around giving people their dreams, and just making their dreams come true with our remodeling projects.
Yeah.
I don't find the same fulfillment in YouTube.
I'm shocked by that.
And honestly, the negativity that it's
100%.
And it's a whole reason why I don't have social media.
Yeah.
It's like everybody is so negative, and it gives everybody that outlet to be able to be negative.
Yeah.
And so, you might be doing, great things on YouTube. You might be saying the right things, teaching people what they want to know or what they need to know. Maybe it's fixing an ice maker, but maybe you said something wrong, and that what we call keyboard warrior can just fire off a message, and that comment comes straight to my phone.
Yep.
And they have access to me mentally every step of the way.
That's not great.
So it wears on you. So it's awesome. It's a great outlet, and it could be my primary income, but it's just one of those things where you kind of lose your willingness to do some of those things because of all the negativity surrounding
100%.
stuff. So.
Yeah. And it's, and I mean, it kind of, we talk to clients about this all the time, where it's like, do you want this to become your full-time job? Because it's hard to do your full-time job of being a remodeler or a banker or a realtor or whatever that is, and also be a YouTuber, because those are two very involved things. So,
at a certain point, I was thinking about doing them in conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
But then you have so many people that are negative with, now I'm giving someone an outlet on YouTube to basically call me into the building department, say negative things about my remodeling projects, because no remodeling project ever goes according to plan. There's a hiccup. You always have to do something that's a solve of a problem that, every remodeler would go at a different way.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's good, and sometimes that turns into kind of a hack job to make it happen in this behind the scenes.
Right.
And that's something that, if you show it on YouTube, this guy's a hack, and this guy is, he's not professional, whatever. So I don't want to, if I do them in conjunction with each other, it brings negativity to my business then.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things. It's the world we live in. Do I want to do that? Do I want to give that exposure? I don't know. Maybe it's in the future. I don't take me as a pessimist on the whole thing, but it might have a function in the future. Sure. And we're thinking about utilizing the YouTube channel for customer experience videos. Yeah. So where a customer might meet with me and we talk about a whole lot of stuff in one meeting at the house. and the customer doesn't necessarily absorb all that information. So we'll give them some customer experience videos that allow them to go back and, see, what was the process on countertops? Like, how does that even work? And what was the process on cabinets, and what do they actually look like, so that I can create educational videos that my customers can just, lean back on when I'm not there.
Yeah. To kind of fill in the gaps and provide all the extra wiki style information for whatever it is that they're talking about. No, that's a very good approach. And, YouTube, obviously you're reaching the entire world, but like your customers are people who live Central Ohio and in Bellefontaine and that sort of thing, I imagine. So, Bellefontaine, you drove about an hour to get here today. Is about right? Yeah. So, well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. What got you into doing remodeling in general? Where did that start?
It's a loaded question, right? It goes back to my childhood. My dad is a mechanical engineer, or was a mechanical engineer. He's still at heart, but always taught me to be curious about things, always taught me to be that person to tear something apart if I didn't know how it worked, and always looked at reverse engineering everything that I touched. And so ultimately that grew me into someone who always wants to improve everything around him, sees the little things that could be better, and sees the projects that, could have turned into something amazing if they were executed a little bit better. So ultimately, my business originally started as a handyman service. Yeah. I did a lot of plumbing repairs, a lot of drywall fixes, a lot of electrical, little odds and ends stuffs for little old ladies. Once you get to know me, I have a soft spot for little old ladies, especially ones that are widows and don't have their husband to take care of the things anymore. And that's a soft spot for me. I want to take care of those people. And so that handyman service got me in the door with a bunch of great customers, and then great customers that ultimately were asking, hey, can you do a bathroom remodel for me? And at the time, I wasn't really confident. I was like, I could do a bathroom remodel in my house, but I would be terrified to tear apart your bathroom right now. Yeah. And then now that's all we do. We do, large scale kitchen, bathroom, basements, and just whole home remodels. And so now we're tearing apart everything. And it's kind of just having that confidence that's been built over time to morph my business into something that was just a couple $100 for a small project up into a couple $100,000 now.
So how long has that process been?
That process has been probably a better part of 15 years.
15 years. So you started off handyman and now you're doing full renos and everything.
For sure.
That. Yeah.
We didn't officially start the business until I think June of 2014. Okay. And so we're just over 10 years old right now as an official business. But started as the Durbin Compound Handyman Services. Yeah. And then it eventually got to the point where we felt like the business looked unprofessional that a handyman service was doing a bathroom remodel. And so we're like, okay, we need to now change this into the Durbin Compound Renovation and Repair. Yeah. And so, it's been a crazy adventure.
That is a wild adventure, too. And so, obviously, Durbin Compound, that's your name, obviously. Right. It sounds a little like maybe a barbecue joint or something like that, too. So, I don't know. Just a thought. If you want to do barbecue as well, you seem like somebody who maybe knows how to operate a grill.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you brought up that because I never thought about it as like a barbecue kind of thing. A lot of people think about a cult. Like they're like, oh, is it a cult or is it a gun range? Or, honestly, the name came from our property. We have 10 acres. We have a lot of land, and I just called it the compound. Yeah. And so initially it became the Durbin Compound, and it was something unique and fun to name the YouTube channel. Yeah. And then we plastered our logo and the name all over everything. And then naturally it just turned into a thing. Turned into a thing. And now it's our complete brand. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, it's a good, unique name for a lot of the companies that are out there are named after. Obviously it's named after you, but yours has a little bit of a different ring to it, so it kind of helps. It builds sticks. Curiosity. Yeah, it sticks. It's a good sticky name. I like that. So, what would you say your sweet spot is? You mentioned that you started with like plumbing and repair and that sort of thing, but is it kitchen? Is it bathroom? Where do you? I'd say our sweet spot are definitely bathrooms. Okay. We are known to turn and burn on our bathrooms. We're very efficient and very quick with all things bathrooms. I'd say that's our sweet spot. Kitchens could be our sweet spot, but kitchens get really intricate.
Yeah.
Kitchens have a lot of cabinets. They have a lot of things that the customers want, and they're so specific. In a bathroom, you got to pick out the shower, the vanity, and the toilet. And you might have a freestanding tub. That's 4 things. And then, you have things like the vanity mirror and the vanity lights. But honestly, there's only a handful of things that you need to pick for a bathroom. You go into cabinets and there's 10 different selections just in the cabinets.
Yeah, and the pulls have different things. Yeah, the whole thing.
And it becomes this whole project where it's not necessarily streamlined or efficient at all because your cabinet order is big and it takes a long time to get. And so ultimately the project just becomes longer and longer and longer. I could probably do with the crew I have now, we could probably do 8 bathrooms in the time it takes me to do 1 kitchen.
Oh, wow.
Because we can gut and fully redesign and tile a bathroom in 2 weeks.
Huh.
And so a kitchen could easily become a lot more than that.
And that makes sense now that I think about it too, because like a kitchen's got a lot more like, well, I like it this way versus a bathroom. It's like, here's what it needs to be, Right. So, no, that makes sense.
And I'm not ordering countertops. I'm not doing extensive electrical reworks.
Yeah.
There's tile backsplash, and it becomes a intricate monster. And so, once you have a great designer that feeds into all of those elements, like it goes pretty efficiently.
Yeah.
But honestly, it just takes a while, and I don't want it to be my bread and butter because the bathrooms are so much easier.
So is there a bit of a process that you've kind of installed for yourselves to kind of keep customers moving through sort of a, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 kind of thing, just kind of keep it? Because I know a remodel can be, a question mark period of time depending on how involved it gets and that sort of thing too.
Right. And a lot of that efficiency comes from just planning.
Yeah.
But we have developed processes or processes or processing.
I like that one. Yeah, let's go with that one.
We have developed a lot of processing to take care of all of those like pinch points that we go along through a design process.
Yeah.
Because usually a bathroom remodel isn't to the scale that you would want conceptual drawings and architectural stuff. Like very seldom do you run into a bathroom that requires that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not building $1 million bathrooms.
Right.
We're building, maybe a $50,000 bathroom, an $80,000 bathroom.
Right.
And we don't necessarily have all of those things. So we've developed those processing to take care of all the little pinch points for the vanities and picking out all of the things so that we know where we're going. It's something that we pride ourselves a lot on with our customer selection meeting.
Yeah.
A lot of people call it pre-construction.
Okay.
Where we would go through with the customer and ensure that we have a detailed list of everything that needs to be figured out. It doesn't need to be figured out then, but we need to start thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
Because by the time we get to the project, I want to have it all ordered, all in-house, ready to go in the warehouse so that we can take it from point A to point B and install it.
So it sounds like you're a plan ahead kind of guy. Yeah.
For sure. And you have to be in this industry 100%. Or you leave a lot of people disgruntled because you started a project and now you didn't figure out the main thing that needed to be figured out. Maybe it's a shower valve and now they're without a shower for a couple of days and now you've made someone unhappy.
Yeah.
But as Aaron Enfinger always says, like the absence of information is always filled with negativity.
Yes.
It's human nature.
Yes.
And so those things, like if you just leave out the littlest detail of information, it just that project, that great project can become a negative stigma on your business.
Interesting.
Quick.
That's a really interesting way to put it too. So in that situation, like obviously you've got a people first approach to everything that you do. So what does that actually mean when you're in the middle of a renovation and something goes sideways, which I imagine it does, and the customer's freaking out? Like how do you handle something like that?
With a level head.
Yes.
Before this remodeling life, I was a Marine.
Okay.
And so the Marine Corps, we fly off the handle. We yell at people. We yell to get things done. And I talk about it all the time.
Marines before.
I talk about it all the time with my wife. Like, I'm just going to go back to screaming and yelling because that's how we get stuff done.
Yeah.
But honestly, like reacting to it in that way isn't effective whatsoever.
Right.
So that people first thing is like, hey, mistakes are going to happen.
Right.
And it's one of those things where we set the expectation from day one. your project, however small or however large it is, it will not go down without a hiccup. So expect the hiccup. Just expect that we're going to run into something that I don't have x-ray vision. Like this wall could be full of mold. As soon as I pull it down, we've got an issue. Right. And the thing that honestly just carries you through every interaction in a positive light is you see a problem, say something about it right then. Don't try to hide it.
Right.
Don't try to massage your way around it like, hey, homeowner, come in here, see what I've got. Yeah. This is what got messed up, or this is what we found when we opened it. Yeah. And a lot of the times those human interactions carry you through, those positive human interactions carry you through the project in a positive light. Yep. And so if the guys screw up and we have to redo something, well, I'm honest, like, hey, we've got to make this right. And the guys screwed it up, or maybe it was even me that screwed it up. Yep. But you take ownership, you don't try to point the blame, and every interaction usually goes down without a hitch.
Yeah, no, that's a great approach, and just letting people know that you're a human being. Things don't always go according to plan. And if it's screwed up, we're going to make it right. So yeah, solid approach. So, so you work with your wife as well. She's in the control room right now. Yeah.
So I can't see her, but no. I know she's back. I know she's back there chuckling.
Yes. So, so how did you rope her into this, or was this her idea?
No, I roped her into it. So, my wife is an amazing woman. She thrives a lot in logistics. So she came from the medical background. Mm-hmm. And so she's done a lot of stuff from surgical technician to doing surgical sales and things. So she's the behind the scenes person. That's why I couldn't get her on the podcast today, is because she doesn't like to be the one that's in front of the camera and is seen all the time. And I respect that, because she doesn't want all the recognition. She just makes all of the things go seamlessly in the background. Yep. So I have her to owe for a lot of my success, because if you don't have a healthy home life and you don't have a partner supporting your dream every day, then you won't make it. Yeah. You're just ultimately going to be fighting an uphill battle. And we see it all the time with employees and things like that. And so I'm just grateful to have her around, because she is the behind the scenes guru that makes all the stuff possible. Yep. She's the one that's creating the spreadsheets. She's creating the processing to do all of the things effectively, so that we can figure out exactly what needs to be taken care of. So she's my COO, and she's taking care of all the background procurement and making sure that we have square footages and all of the materials are getting ordered well, and our lead times. And she's making all those processes in the back work so that we can just go to work and put the things together.
That's awesome. You need somebody like that. And I'm in my relationship with my wife, I consider myself the chaos Muppet, and she's the order Muppet. She keeps all the stuff straight, while I'm the one who's usually,
I can relate.
Yeah, making the messes and that sort of thing. I feel like maybe we're ringing a bell back there too. I suspect. I don't know.
Yeah. So I initially she kind of helped me build the business from the beginning, because she was helping me do all the stuff in our evenings and on the weekends. Yeah. When it was a handyman service, we were doing the stuff on the weekends and at night. And a lot of the times it was just me and her. She was handing me tools and I was making it happen. And then, eventually it got to the point where the business could sustain her working full time in it. I said, you need to just quit your job. Quit worrying about the man. Yeah. And only worry about this man.
Was that the exact pitch?
I don't think it was, but it sounded really good. It
sounds great now, yeah.
But so eventually we were blessed enough that the business could sustain her salary as well. And so now she's on board full time, and she's doing her thing that she's gifted with in our business.
That's cool. That's very cool. So obviously technology's changing, that sort of thing. I noticed you guys have a home automation thing that you've been doing as well recently. Have you done home automation for yourself as well? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that. Like what are you doing for them?
So we have all kinds of different things that we could do. I know a lot of customers are now gathered around sound for the most part. And the lighting thing is coming available now with Philips Hue, and now GE just came out with their sync stuff. Yeah. A little clunky, but we don't want to talk about GE in that way. But so I have a friend that's also our IT guy, and he absolutely he's a software developer. And so he builds apps and all these things. So we have a lot of depth and capability with doing a build outs with Google Home Assistant. And if we wanted to do a Control4 system, you have to go through a dealer, and it just becomes this monster that is so hard to build, and you have to have dealer support. That we can provide a lot of solutions to customers, whether it be sound or vision or lighting, and we can do that all in-house, and basically use most of our products that are just generally available, and doing little small tweaks with Google Home Assistant. And maybe it's running a small computer to manage all those things and accessible through your phone. And we can build out all those cool things. And it's just, cool. It's definitely a niche to get into. And we just help customers when they ask. Your sound and vision giants, all of the local in-town places like Genesis Audio and Sound and Vision are going to be a lot more robust, because that's all they do.
Right.
But we definitely have customers that we've helped out with all those integrations with a project, and it just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's another subcontractor I don't have to hire, to be honest.
Oh, right. And you build it while you're doing the reno too. It makes perfect sense, because then it's all built in. You can do the cove lighting or whatever that works out to be, and make it look really slick too.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people love working with us and the Durbin compound, is because I'm not limited by a certain brand or a certain way that we do things. I'm totally open to whatever you want to do. If you want to shop for a budget faucet, if you want to shop for a budget speaker, do your thing.
Right.
Whatever it makes the customer.
Your house.
Yeah. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And if you want to go bargain shop and go do the things that you want to do and source those things, absolutely we'll install them. And if there's a problem with that unit, and I've had issues with that in the past, I'll say it out up front, but why limit the things that are possible by saying, hey, if you come to us for your renovation, we only have products A, B, and C to choose from.
Yeah.
And now I've pigeonholed myself into these 3 relationships. Why not, make those a lot more vast, and we can do a lot more things.
Interesting. So kind of same question, I guess. To dovetail off of that, I suppose. But so what would you say one of the biggest mistakes homeowners make when they're starting a renovation?
Man, you're full of loaded questions today, Ben.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I would say,
what's your favorite color?
I would say blue. This is my favorite color.
I like this color.
So I would say the biggest mistake that customers make is they overthink things.
Yeah,
they think about all of these little details that they're never going to think about after we're done with the renovation, and so they obsess over some details that are so inconsequential to the project that they actually slow us down, and they agonize over things that really aren't going to affect the end game.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's the way a cabinet swings, maybe it's the way where the vanity is sitting in the space in the bathroom, or maybe it's the color of the finishes for the shower.
Yeah, yeah.
Those little details, from the general aesthetics of it all, it's something to obsess over. But ultimately, in 5 years, you're never going to say, well, I wish I would have picked that Venetian bronze over that champagne bronze.
Right.
And you don't remember what that color even looked like. But in the moment, you overthought it.
Yeah.
And same thing goes with tile. You can go down the street to Floor & Decor and see hundreds of thousands of selections in tile, and you'll get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then people will they'll be so overwhelmed with the picking process that, you will ultimately think yourself in circles.
Choice paralysis. Yeah.
Right. And
it's
then,
like going through Netflix and what are we going to watch? Well, you spend 3 hours looking for a movie and then it's time to go to bed. Exactly.
That's exactly right. And then tomorrow you forget about the whole process that you just went through, and you'll do it all again. And so I think that's the biggest mistake that homeowners make, is they just overthink all of the things. And so that's why our processes are in place, or processes are in place to make that process easy, and so that they can pick faster. We can get a project done faster. And I think that's a reason why we don't use designers. Designers add a whole bunch of selection to the process that just slows us down.
I can see
and we produce amazing projects, and we don't need a designer to tell us what style matches this and what matches that. That's just something for the client to agonize over, and then at the end of the day, they don't even remember that was a choice.
Yeah.
So
makes sense to me. So now to kind of dovetail off of that, what is a favorite before and after story that you have that made you and your crew feel like wizards?
I would say, so we just did a project. So I live in a backstory here. I'm going to say a lot today in this podcast, I guess. I'm not just rambling.
Then I'm doing my job properly. Yes.
So we live in a log home. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I know,
Did
right?
you build it yourself?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I wish I would have, but I don't, it's a beast.
Yeah.
So the exterior walls are all log. They're all 8-inch thick logs that get stacked on top of each other with insulation in between. So the exterior doesn't change, but the interior is really tough to work with because it's usually a post and beam system where you have your posts inside and you have open framing. And so the floor above on the second floor is actually the ceiling below. And it's about 1.5 inches thick pine floor that it's tongue and groove.
Yeah.
The challenge is that the floor on top is the ceiling underneath.
Yeah.
So if you come through it with anything, you can see it from above, and you see it from above and you can see it from below. Yeah. So changing things in a log home is very, very tough. And so we just had a recent job that we had won because we live in a log home, and so did the customer. And so I said, I can handle all of the intricacies and all of those things that you're challenged with here. Yeah. I can handle it because I've done it before. And so what we did was, honestly, so I say all that to say, this is my favorite story, is that a couple moved from Clintonville out towards us in West Liberty, and they bought a log home. And they were blown away with just how are they going to make this stuff happen? Yeah. And so they had a weird floor in this master bathroom. I think it was 2x12s on top of the floor because a previous owner had made it a platform above so they could run all the plumbing above the floor, which was the ceiling from below. So instead of running all the plumbing down underneath in the first floor where you could see it all, they built this platform. So they had this gargantuan master platform deck thing that was their bathroom. So they had a tub and a shower and a toilet, and they were all on different levels because as the plumbing, wherever the plumbing needed to be, they put the level, right? So I was just like, let me gut this space and let me build you a bathroom of my choosing. Yes. And we can kind of design it together, but let me do it and let me show you what I can do. Yeah. And so they completely let me gut the space and let me design exactly how I wanted to do it. And it came out as one of our feature projects. It turned into an amazing bathroom, all on the same level as the floor outside. And so our tile matched right up against the hardwood that they installed, zero transition, and we built a shower, and the drain below came into the space, but we built a very nice soffit in the kitchen where they didn't even realize that the plumbing was there.
Conceal it totally.
It just turned out to be an epic project.
Awesome. That's all, because sometimes you're just restricted by a challenging space, and you have to think outside the box to get it to a place that it works for the homeowner, but also looks nice, feels nice, and feels like home and has all the amenities. That's
for sure. And it was one of those projects where it was like, you just need to let me work. Yeah. And so I was able to create a space that provided all of the things they wanted. Yeah. Now, it wasn't necessarily the layout that they would have picked or that they even thought of, but I was able to do it in a way that also in a log home, you have vaulted ceilings. Yeah. So where does a bathroom fan go? Yeah. So we were able to run an extra thick wall to run ducting down through the wall and out through the attic space and put a remote fan out in another attic space to pull the air out of the room and out. Man. All hidden behind the scenes. And so it's those things that are like, you just need to let me work. I got it.
This is why you hire a professional like this, because I would have sat there and just cried because I don't know how to fix this problem. So,
and ultimately, a structural engineer, a designer would have made it more complicated. Would have made it a lot more not user friendly for the contractor. Yeah. Would have put in and inspect a whole bunch of stuff that just didn't make sense and would have been a nightmare to do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this one wasn't a nightmare, but it definitely turned out well.
Yeah.
So that's what to answer.
Varying degrees of nightmare out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question,
what is the weirdest request you've had a client make?
Oh man.
If there is one, I don't know. Maybe it's been pretty straightforward with.
Yeah, it's been pretty straightforward. I honestly just had a client today ask if they could put the range in the corner in the kitchen.
Like facing, like sticking out from the corner, 45?
Like diagonally in the corner. And I was like, well, we could do that. But that was honestly
also not.
Right. And so I had my kitchen designer there with me, and he was like, yeah, we've done it, but no. And so, that's a weirdest request that I've got that I can think of. I'm sure that Jenny's listening and she's like, well, what about that time? But she doesn't sound like that, by the way. She's
sounded exactly like her.
Well, what about that time? I'm not sure. I'm not sure craziest thing, but that was one of those things that put me off. I was like, in the corner? What do you mean? Yeah. And so I've never seen a range in the corner, but it was a request.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
And this is a tough one. What is your favorite tool that you could not live without, and if you lost it, you'd cry?
Oh man, there's a couple, but to keep it simple, it'd probably be the impact driver.
Impact driver?
Yeah, I mean, we use it every day for everything.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're constantly changing bits. You can drill holes with it. You can sink fasteners with it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the go-to for everything, and it's in and out. The other thing I was going to say is like ProPress tool to ProPress copper. It's basically a fitting with an O-ring in it and needs hydraulically pressed onto the line, and it's a permanent connection.
And it just seals it.
Yeah, and it's a hydraulic crimper. They're very expensive. They're
fast,
but it's extremely fast.
Yeah.
You could solder copper for a fraction of the price, but it turns that apprentice. That apprentice remodeler into a master real quick to be able to put the fittings together and just crimp it.
Cool.
It's very useful in our business to do some of the things, but not as useful as impact driver.
Yeah. All right. So, what is next for Durbin Compound? You got TV show, big jobs.
I would love that. So mainly what we're focusing on now is getting our showroom up and running.
Yeah.
So in Bellefontaine, we've acquired a space to have a kitchen and bath showroom. So kitchen and bath showrooms are very expensive, and I'm cash rolling it myself. So it's not like I just get things for free to put in and build a kitchen and a bathroom display, but we are in the process of getting all of our vendors together to have displays, and it's a really exciting time.
That's cool.
It's probably always been a dream of mine since I had my business to have a showroom where people can come and I can show them and design things with them there. So on the horizon is having that open up and running and maybe hosting events there. But also just having a space to better serve my customers.
That's great. So where should people go if they want to follow you, find you? Obviously, there's a YouTube location, everything like that. Where do people find you?
So thedurbin.com, and the YouTube channel is The Durbin Compound. If you can't search on Google The Durbin Compound and find me, then I would be very greatly saddened.
You put some effort into it.
Yeah, we've put a lot of effort into search engine optimization and definitely doubled down on that because we are very searchable. So if you see our vehicles out around town, we got a giant QR code on the back of everything from our trailers to our vans, and people are snapping pictures of our QR code thousands of times a month.
Gotcha.
And so curiosity is amazing, man. Come check us out. And the YouTube channel is full of how-to videos. I've got boot reviews. I do work pants and socks and just everything.
That's what I love about the channel too, is like it's DIY stuff, which like I love watching videos like that, but it's not just like, hey, here's my company, come buy a thing. You're teaching people how to do stuff, and which is so valuable.
Exactly. And I started to do the boot reviews and things like that because I was chasing the best work footwear. Yeah. I wasn't necessarily just doing boot reviews because there's plenty of channels that do that. Yeah. I'm chasing the best boot that can hold up to everything. Yeah. And that if you find this video and you like the way they look and and you get my review and I say
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, then you're going to go get those work boots.
If you work like I work and it looks like this is a good thing for you. Yeah,
exactly.
That's great.
So,
Smart approach.
at the end of the day, just educating my audience and caring about the people first.
That's great. That's great. Well, hey, Devin, thank you so much for coming in today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to Remodelers Roundtable, a NARI podcast. I've been TV's Ben Niedenthal, and we hope to see you next time.
Boxland Media. Think big.